It looks like I'm live. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me know if you're watching the comments. I know I'm a few minutes late. I had technical issues as usual. I'm always trying to do a million things at the same time. But anyway, something I don't know at this point. I don't know if I'm too excited about it because I've just gotten used to it so much. But something that got me really, really excited when I first heard about it. It's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I can't believe we're actually we actually have this technology that I'm going to talk about today already. I actually thought it was going to take a little longer to make it happen, but for I guess, a few months now, we've had access. The regular human beings have access to technology that can help us write copy. And I'm for all kinds of reasons. My brain thinks a little different than most people. Most people are normal, and I'm not. So I'll claim that. But I started thinking, wow, well, anyway, I don't know if I want to spill the beans so far right now, but I mean, I'm sure you heard about AI or computer systems that write copy for you. When I first heard about it, my brain started going into a million directions. What if we started having fake conversations with each other, and there's a computer writing sentences for us, or thinking what we should reply on a dating site or on a sales call to customers, and writing responses for us, and all kinds of crazy things that I've been thinking about in terms of what can happen with AI, right? I mean, most people right now are using AI, or some people, I should say, or very few people, in fact, are using AI to write marketing content for them. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. But this can really go anywhere. I mean, really, our world's about to really, really change. I mean, I used to say, I mean, everything's been pretty much defined except for marketing. Everything. I mean, you could, if you started a business today, you could hire somebody to make the widget for you. You could hire somebody to do almost anything. But marketing is not so clear and cut. I mean, right? It really comes down to, can you build a brand? Can you build a following? Well, it's gonna start to get to the point where even a good marketer is replaceable. That's crazy. I mean, to think that we're at this point. But if you've ever heard, I mean, I'm sorry, if you've ever noticed how when you're typing on your phone, the phone auto completes a word for you. I mean, that's very, very basic AI doing that for you. If you're ever writing an email in Gmail, if anyone still writes emails, I hope you do anyway for marketing. You've ever noticed how it'll start completing a sentence for you? That's very elementary stuff next to what happened. There's a company that did some research, that's been doing research for years, called OpenAI. You don't need to know that unless you're really a nerd like me, but that's been trying to do predictive text writing for a long time, and other applications actually. And they actually opened up the ability for people to use their API and use their computer systems to generate text and copy for different applications. And so, because of that, you've probably seen maybe 5 or 6 different companies offering access to that. If you were to go out directly to that company, and I tried, and access it, it's actually pretty expensive. And so, if you're not offering it as a solution, you pay a lot of money. But anyway, they put a lot of money into this technology to make this happen. And so, I'm going to just give you the gist of what it is today, and just share some stories with how I've used it in the past. And I'm actually going to give you a link for you to actually try software before. There's 3 or 4 different companies out there doing this. This is the one that seems to make it easier to use. But so I'm going to give you that option. I think Bill's on the line to listening. Yep. Oh, he wrote his comment generated with the software I'm recommending. Bill, by the way, I have a book that belongs to you, by the way. So I know the rest of you don't care, but I do have a book that belongs to you. Business Model Generation. I still have it. So we got to meet for coffee sometime so I can return this book to you, by the way. Anyway, write a reply with using the generator. Jarvis is amazing. Been using them for 3 months. Yes, Robert Stern's been using that. I think they're conversion AI. But I wanted to update our community just a little bit for those of you who may not be up to date on every little marketing thing that changes. Wanted to take this time to give you guys an update. If I can move slides, come on. So, content creation. I'm going to tell you why content creation is important real quick. But I mean, I don't have to sell you on this. You've probably been sold on this. Content marketing costs less. I should say less, and converts better than other types of marketing. So it's really, really important. That's why a lot of people tell you to post, to write blogs, to create videos. Yes, that's content. I mean, it's for a reason, right? Uh, oh, this says looks like, oh, that's smart. I'm glad they did that. Reading the comments from Robert. But writing content is time consuming and it's hard unless you were an English major or a journalist major that loves writing. Then writing content is painful. Okay, I was ESL, English as a second language, growing up in school, but I ended up passing AP English in high school. That's my claim to fame, that I do know the language. But anyway, and then obviously did some writing in college, but I never enjoyed the writing process. Right? It's just time consuming. I mean, I'd rather talk. I mean, I'm talking now. I'd rather talk. So it's not a form of creating content that becomes natural for me because I'm talking. And I know there's programs out there that'll read my words, my audio, and turn into words. I've used this, I know. But writing content itself is not easy for me. It's just, I do it. I can do a decent job at it. It just takes a lot of time. And I think a lot of people are that way, right? We all have our way of creating content that we're more comfortable with. But you probably should be writing some blogs. And if it's not blogs, it's long posts, right? It's notes on a group. So whatever form of blog you write, you're probably creating social media posts, or you're probably writing ads. At some point in time, you will. If you're not yet, you're probably designing your website, a landing page, or a sales page, to a social page. And you're wondering, what do I put on there? What do I put? I know I want to say this part of, I want to say how cool and crazy and amazing my product is, but I don't know. I just don't have the words to say it. I know the thoughts, and then you sit there like this guy in the picture on the slide, and you're just thinking and writing, maybe typing, maybe writing on your notes, but time goes on and on and on, and you don't seem to finish. But you're probably, if you're writing course content, membership content, if you're selling your content, yes, even if you know what you want to say, it's how to say it. So, I mean, I realized this way after high school, which I don't know why it took me so long. There's two different parts of writing content, right? There's actually having the expertise of knowing what you want to say and then saying it and how to say it. There's two different parts to the writing process. So you may know what you want to say. You may know what you want to put on that course, but the actual technicality of writing it in such a way that makes sense, that's the second part of the writing process, right? And that's a part I don't enjoy. I can do it, but I don't enjoy it. I have the thoughts, I have the ideas, but now I have to put them in the words that people are going to understand. That's where it takes a little longer. So even if you're thinking, well, you know what, I don't write sales copy. I don't know, you're lucky and you just have clients come up to you or buy from you left and right without needing to market, but you're writing content for your courses or your memberships, then you're writing. And get this, you're probably writing emails. You're probably writing, even if writing is not your thing, but you want to do some videos, scripts take time too as well. And that's writing. That's actual words. It's not just saying you might want to write a script for that, right? And a lot more. I'll tell a little story actually and see what, I don't know if Bill or Robert, if you used it for this application, but I actually wrote a business proposal using AI. Actually, so that's something I don't hear a lot often. But I mean, you guys are both Bill and Robert are probably friends of mine on Facebook. But I kind of bragged about it a little bit a few weeks back without talking too much about it. But I wrote an entire 12-page business proposal. I helped the client write it using, and yeah, did the AI write everything? No, the AI actually helped me rewrite a lot of ideas. I just threw stuff on the paper, some ideas of what I wanted the page to say, and I put every paragraph through AI. And guess this, I had a second customer. So Robert's writing a book. I had a second customer, a client, I'm sorry. Customer sounds like I'm selling widgets. But anyway, a client who's in the same industry who needed a similar report. And I said, well, I have to write that proposal, but I don't want it to sound the same. That's okay. I'll tell the AI to rewrite every single paragraph. And I did. And now I had two versions of the same report. They were happy. And they couldn't believe it. They actually told me, Rene, you're cheating. I'm like, no, I'm not cheating. I'm being smart. I can do it from scratch, but I don't know if you want me to build that many hours, right, of consulting. And especially my rate's not $10 an hour. Trust me, it's very far from it. But so they were happy about that. So anyway, I think some of you guys watching probably, I'm preaching to the audience, but some of you knew it is completely insane. Uh, and writing content is expensive. If you pay someone, I think copywriting is so expensive because if you think about it, you have to pay someone to get familiar with your brand. That's what's so hard to do. That's why it's so expensive, right? Because if you pay a third party person to write it, they're not you. They're not familiar with your expertise. They're not familiar with your brand. They're not familiar with your voice. They kind of have to become you to write the copy, right? And so it's expensive because it's time consuming. It actually takes you less time, except for the fact that you may not be good at writing, but it will because guess what? You already know who you are. You are your voice already. So it is expensive. It's hard to do that. Other than the fact that, hey, it's a technical aspect of writing, putting it in words that make sense, and I'm doing air quotes. But it's also being that having that expertise, knowing what needs to be said, and understanding that it's expensive. Um, so yes, yeah, and so I've kind of been throwing everything in the mix, but yes, AI can write content for you. All you got to do is tell it what your business is about, choose from different options, and it'll start generating copy for you. And it's not as amazing as I thought. I was hoping it would be, but it is pretty darn close. I mean, it's not gonna magically write what you want it to. You got to sit there, give it some feedback. It'll respond back with 3 or 4 different options. So, okay, bottom line, you have to click 3 or 4 times. All right, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's not magic, right? But it is pretty close to it. It's not going to read your brain. You got to feed it a few things, but it actually comes back with some content that maybe 1 out of 5 makes so much sense. One of the 5 options that it throws back at you makes so much sense that you're like, I'm done. This is it. I'm going with option number 4 and I'm done. I'm good. And of course, if you're a perfectionist, then yeah, you can keep tweaking with it, but it'll literally take you a few minutes to come up with. Here's what I helped another client with: their mission statement, their motto for a new brand that they're launching, the name of the brand, by the way. What else did we write? Sales cop product descriptions for her products, everything she's gonna need. We're just cranking it out with AI. We're really taxing it. Here's what's interesting right now. A lot of the companies are actually, if you really are gonna write content, they're eating the cost of what it costs to actually generate this AI because they actually have to pay that other company that did all the research. And a lot of the companies, what I've noticed is they're actually eating the cost. I mean, if I sit there, they're not going to make money off of me. I write too much stuff. I've been for my different clients that I know I'm capping it, or I'm making them spend more money than I'm paying for this. So it is relatively cheap. If you don't write any content, then it's not. But then they're hoping for numbers. But right now they're losing money on me. So if you are writing a lot of stuff, they're probably losing money on you, and they're fine with it. They want to grow. Take advantage of it right now. Get an account. I'm gonna give you an affiliate link. I probably make some money off of it. I don't know, maybe nothing. I don't care, but I wanted to track it anyway. But I am gonna give you a link to get a trial. Here's what I would do: if you are about to write a lot of copy, pay a month, write all your copy, and cancel it. But you know what's going to happen is you're going to need it again and you're going to get it back. But if you feel like, hey, you know what, I don't know if I write enough content, because some of you may not. Some of you may be actually working your website and you don't do a lot of marketing, but you're working on your website right now. Get it for a month, write your website and cancel it. Or try it for, I think it's 7-day trial. Write all your content in 7 days if you really think it's not worth it. But it's cheap. It's really cheap. But if you feel like, I've been paying for it for 3 months now, I think 2 months, 3 months. I don't recall. It's been a while. But I've used it a lot more than almost anything, because I feel like, hey, yeah. I mean, tell a short little story. When I was in high school, I started programming, and not to save time. I wrote software to do my calculus for me because I didn't have time to do my homework. So yes, I was that kind of nerd. I was like, I'm not going to waste time doing stupid math problems. I thought at the time, I'm going to write a bunch of little programs to do my homework for me. Did I know how to do the calculus? Yes, I did. I had to write the software to do the calculus for me. I knew how to do the calculus, but I didn't want to waste time. I know how to write the copy, and I could probably do a decent job at it, but I don't have the time to do it. So I'm going to leverage technology as much as I can to save time so that I can spend time doing the things that I love, because I don't love writing copy. I'm starting to actually with when the AI is doing it for me, but not doing it personally. But anyway, so there is a 7-day trial. That's your link. Wanted to give you guys an update. I know a lot of you guys already heard about this. If you have, ignore everything I said. I'm preaching to the choir. But if you haven't, wanted to give you guys a heads up and not be the one that not update the our community with what's happening. But Robert says he's been using for everything: blogs, headlines, content, information, scripts, and more. I want to hear somebody use it for a dating site, writing their profile. I mean, that's kind of like the most deceiving, crazy, or not thing like that, or something. I gotta think of a weird example. I'm happily married. I don't need that, but some other. There's got to be some other crazier story that I thought I had the craziest right by writing a 12-page proposal, but maybe somebody else has a crazier example that normally is not advertised. But let me see. I think Bill wrote his reply to this comment. And by the way, Bill, I do have that book. Bill says, "Hang on to that book for me. I'll ransom it with a cup of coffee." Yes, definitely. I'll get you that cup of coffee. You let me borrow it. So, and it's been a while. I'm honest. I forgot I had it. So, it'd be nice to grab that whole book and rewrite it with Copy AI. But anyway, no. All kinds of weird things are going to come up with. I mean, if you want to tell me what I thought about this, here's the impact of the industry, right? Here's my 22 cents on this. I really think that we're going to be jaded by copy now. I'll tell you what. And we're already starting to, right? I mean, right now there's obviously tools that do video production for you or help you edit and create quick little videos. Before all that, when a brand had a cool video, you thought, oh, they must be a big deal. They have budget to create a cool video. But now that we know that somebody can create a cool little video in 5 minutes with their phone, if you watch a video, you think, yeah, they probably made that in 5 minutes. So that doesn't help them gain credibility. So I think, not today, I think in the future, and I know they're not, the Copy AI is not gonna like me saying this, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think in the future, we're gonna be so jaded by good copy that that's not gonna help us trust the company. In fact, if the copy is not perfect, we're gonna feel they're lazy, they're sloppy, they don't have it together, blah blah blah. We're gonna be expecting perfection because we're gonna be getting it from different companies. So your customers are gonna expect perfection from you because they know you have the tools to make it happen, to explain things. And it's not being deceiving. It's now you put it in words that make sense, right? That are gonna be effective. So what's left? Well, I know what's left, but I mean, what's left? You tell me what's left, Robert, Bill, anyone else listening. What's left? If you can't set yourself apart with good copy, what's left? I mean, email's not as effective as it used to be. What's left? And yes, the answer is relationships. So I'll leave it at that. That's it's going to be a while before we get an AI relationship builder that's actually effective. Although, I mean, back in the early 2000s, I was chatting with a robot on my free time when I was in college. So, but that wasn't a relationship. But anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. I think that's my 22 cents in terms of where I think this whole thing's headed. But anyway, I think Robert has. Let me see. Bring that way. Let's see. By using it, you can put out more content. You can compete with Gary Vee now. Lots of different content. Right. Here's what it's going to come down to, Robert, I think, is there's two parts to the writing process. Like I said, there's the knowing what you want to say and how to say it. The Copy AI and the AIs are helping you know how to say it. You still got to know what you want to say. All right. That part's still there. Thank God. Right. Because that some of us, that's our edge, right? Knowing what needs to be said is our edge. The rest of it is technical, busy work. Just like an attorney, right? I mean, an attorney, when they're helping you with a legal issue and they're writing a contract, first you got to know what you want to put on that contract. And then you got to know how to put it in the contract so it makes sense. So it's legal and it helps you. But anyway, Bill says he's had Copy AI for a few months and they're making money on me so far. I played with it, but haven't used it seriously yet. But I'm just starting to write a course and I expect to lean on it heavily over the next few days. I will say this, Bill, don't be shy. And I'll tell you what I mean by don't be shy. I mean, use it because uh, just full disclosure, the first version of that proposal that I wrote, I try to write it all myself. I'm like, I don't need it. It'll just take longer for me to go through Copy AI. But it wasn't too long into a few pages into it that I realized I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. I'm actually wasting time. So I'd say, don't be shy. Use it for every little thing. But I would say first you got to realize what you want to say, and then have the AI help you with how to say it. But don't be shy. Don't. I mean, maybe shy is the wrong word. Maybe I was cocky to think, oh, you know what? I don't need it. I can just whip it out myself fast. Don't just use it. Like I had that moment, and I kind of gave in, even though I was paying for it. But and it's easy. It's actually going to take some playing with it, but you'll kind of get used to how the AI thinks and what to feed it to make it faster. But even if you're not used to playing with it, you'll still get pretty effective results. You still need to have the outline of what you want to do. Then it becomes exactly. So, yeah. So you still, yeah. If one of you out there thinks, okay, you know what, I'm going to write a course on dog training. Well, if you've never trained a dog, Copy A won't help you. But I mean, luckily, most of us in here are not pretending to be something we're not. So it won't matter. So anyway, I love chatting, but I do got to roll, and I'll come up with something else to share with you again next week. Just changing the format a little in these lives, so having a little fun. Actually, no, I have a slide for you. What am I doing? I'm doing horrible. They should have a Copy A robot do this for me. If you want to follow up with our community and connect and be reminded when we go live or do some more training or talk about some cool tools, as well as try our Twin Social software, you can head at 222s.com/stream. And I know Bill and Robert, you've been on for a while, but I'll see you guys next week. And I screwed up.